and I will love him. And if he knocks at my door, there will be no repercussions for anything. I will just be so happy to see him. You know, so we want to be more loving in our hearts, no matter who has done what. When they come back, maybe we don't want them to be our best friend anymore, but we can still welcome them home, and we can still open our hearts to loving that person, because that's what we're here to do. We are here to love, no matter what. And again, we don't have to be best friends with that person. Now, I'm not talking about my son, because I would love to regain a relationship, but we do have to keep, the minute we close our hearts, who are we closing our hearts to first? As within, so without. We're closing our hearts to ourselves. So in Revelations, well, let me tell you a quick story right now. It's an ancient Egyptian legend. You can read it online, because I was reading again this morning about it. And it goes to the judging for, well, we use the word judging, for the afterlife when someone dies. And in order to move into that afterlife, there's a set of scales. And on the scale is a feather. And on the other side of the scale is a heart. And if our heart is heavier than the feather, then we don't get into the afterlife. So our hearts are to be as light as that feather. So I ask you today, how light is your heart? You know, if someone said to you, I'm going to put your heart on a scale today, what would the balance be? Are we more loving in our heart? Are we more accepting in our heart? In John, Revelations, what he says then, he said that there'll be a new heaven and a new earth. And that's what we'll be living when we're living straight from the heart. You know, the mind wants to think, which is good for the mind. We want that brain to think. But the other part of the mind wants to judge. Yes, no, right, wrong, black, white, blah, 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 blah. That's not, we use our mind, to a good brain, to think through, to create, but we use our heart to love. And we will have that new heaven and new earth. And I want to just quote again from Dr. Howard Thurman. And this is from his essay, Nor Loving in My Heart. And I think of this so often in my own life. He said, I want to glow with a warmth that takes the chill off the room, which I share with those lives that touch mine in the traffics of my comings and goings. I'm going to read that again. To glow with the warmth that takes the chill off, which takes the chill off the room, which I share with those that lives touch me in the traffic of my coming and going. Will our hearts be so warm that when people see us, even if it's a 90 degrees, sometimes people are still cold from within because of hurt or whatever, will we be from that open heart, that place of warmth, the minute they see us? Because what they're seeing, and they may not know what they're seeing, it doesn't matter, but what they're seeing when we come from the heart is God in action. And they feel it, and their lives are changed, because all of a sudden, the cold that another person may feel, the rejection that another person may feel, is all of a sudden gone, because of the warmth that I portray in my heart, from my heart, that others feel it and feel the warmth of that home. So again, on the scale, if we're thinking of it this week, how heavy is my heart? Is it as light as a feather? And then we go back to John, what John said, and we will have a new heaven and a new earth when we come straight from the heart. Thank you.